Maritime Authority for South Africa, which means that it's got two clearly defined mandates. One is a mandate on ensuring safety at sea, safety of the environment, safety of people, safety of ships. The second mandate is the promotion of the Republic's maritime interest, which obviously would include even global economic matters.
And SAMIC itself, the conference, what do you hope to achieve from these couple of days you've got at the CTICC?
I think what we have already achieved is the ability to bring people together who otherwise have never met before. If you look at the maritime sector in South Africa, it was an undefined sector. There's no category of maritime anyway, whether Stats SA or the way we contribute towards the economy. So SAMIC is bringing together the total maritime sector to then look at the issues of how to revitalize and improve on its contribution towards the issues of economic growth and development. And where we're at now, we're still at the early stage of our conference, but looking at the room, there's a big stakeholder coming from the private sector, the funders, the state from many departments. So we're therefore looking forward to quite a robust engagement on how to develop the maritime sector, where it can contribute better to the GDP of the country.
I was going to ask you that. Can you give us an idea of exactly how much the maritime industry, the maritime economy, contributes to the Western Cape economy, for example, where we are now, and to the broader South African economy?
South Africa's wealth is built on the back of trade. 60% of our GDP comes out of trade. If that is a factor of our GDP, it would then be interesting that 98% of our total trade is handled by shipping. You know, so we only trade 2% via other modes of transport, but 98% comes through shipping. So just working with the numbers is highly significant. But if you bring in elements of marine tourism, the oil and gas industry in the sea, if you bring in fishing, if you bring in the marine manufacturing and all of those components, so maritime would actually be highly significant as a GDP percentage. What we are working on now is to then be able to tie that as a sector together with all its elements and all its calculations of its impact on the economy. But South Africa's economy is built purely on the back of trade, and that trade is seaborne trade. And
of course that trade will increase, volumes will increase, the number of ships entering and leaving our waters will increase, which means that your role increases and becomes more complex, I would say, at SAMSA.
It becomes a whole lot more complex. There are two things that will drive it. One will be trade on the one side, but what we also need to know is that South Africa has put in a continental shelf claim, which is a claim with the United Nations to acquire much more sea land, wherein mineral extraction, fishing, and all those activities then belong to South Africa as a country. So when you do a calculation of the marine resources, as you do with mining, to say how many deposits, how much deposits we have, we ought to be saying what is the audit in terms of our marine resources, which we have not done. So those are some of the issues that we will be discussing now as to how do we bring all of those things into one discussion of economic development.
What would you say in the last 30 seconds is the greatest challenge that you face at the moment?
The greatest challenge we're facing at the moment are two. One is the disaggregation of our industry. What we're trying to do here, find solutions that are transversal, that are cross-cutting. If we can do that, then we can influence policy. But you can't influence policy from different pockets, otherwise you're not taken seriously. The second one is how to revitalize by attracting investment into the sector. But that investment must come on the back of South African companies, South African labor, South African job creation.